And welcome
to
episode
I don't know
205
of
Watch
and
Complain.
Complain.
That was dumb.
That was terrible.
Today on the show, obviously, we were talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Indiana Jones and the kind of sort of thing that people kind of sort of want but don't really want, but maybe we do want it. Do we want to sell it? We don't know. Are we going to use it? I guess. Why not? In the end,
should we do them all? Should we?
Doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it should have been called Indiana Jones and the might as well. Indiana Jones and the might as well.
Indiana Jones, and at least we're not worse than the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, and that's one thing I could say for this movie. That's a positive for me is it is better than Crystal Skull. Even though Indiana Jones, you thought he was tired in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Man alive, is he tired in this one? And that was, and that was my biggest complaint.
Except for when they do the face.
Yeah,
thing.
when it's a different actor. So let's get into it.
We're just going to jump. First of all, if you don't want to be spoiled by what happened in this movie,
I was spoiled by Indiana Jones.
We're first going to say generally, what did we think?
It was fine. It was, you know what? I enjoyed myself.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Perfect.
But I will say I enjoyed myself
to a point.
Immensely for about 10 minutes near the end.
Junkets.
Yeah. And I enjoy myself a lot in the start, but then it becomes very hackneyed, and not hackneyed, sorry. It's way too drawn out. They make the same mistakes Crystal Skull made in certain spots, and you're like, didn't you guys fucking learn from the last time not to do this? But it was fine with short bursts of, fun.
There was a lot of like Jurassic World-esque going back to the old school material and doing it your own way.
But it was like I said, and we'll explain to it when we get more into details, but Indiana Jones 1 comes out, right? Raiders of the Lost Ark comes out. Bad guys are Nazis. And everyone hates Nazis. So, and the movie does really well. They're like, all right, surefire hit. So then they do the second one, which to me, I still waffle on if the second one or the third one is my favorite. They do the second one, and it's about like the Black Blood of Kali and a like an Indian voodoo tribe in India, and they were like, "Whoa!" People were like, "No, we don't like this at all." They're like, "Okay, get back into the safe zone. Get back to fighting Nazis."
More straightforward, sure.
So the third one is Nazis, and I think the majority of people, the third one is their favorite. And then
the third one ends up being like a buddy cop.
With his dad, but also it was a great send off.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a great last Indiana Jones movie.
Everyone knows the cup.
Yep. And then they do number 4, and it's not Nazis, it's the Russians and aliens, and people are like, "What? This is stupid.
Spoiler.
This is awful." And then with this one, they're like, "All right, we know it's going to be the last one, so we got to go back to the safe zone. So let's go back to doing Nazis." But only kind of sort of, because it's 1969 and it's kind of sort of Nazis, and you're like, this movie is I'll discuss it in more detail later, but the movie should have been called Indiana Jones and the kind of sorta, because that's what it feels like.
The not Nazis.
The Nazis.
The Repla Nazis.
Indiana Jones and the dial of the Nazis destiny.
We would suck coming up for titles. I can't even speak.
I thought we were in it, and we were talking about it in the theater with that old lady that was hacking and doing something in the front of our theater.
God.
Hey, she was a special needs person, so I'm not going to complain.
Okay. I will get into this, and I will get in trouble. It's fine.
We did see her in the lineup, and Phil goes, "Man, hope she's not in my theater." And I'm looking at him like, you know our luck. You know she's either going to be right in front of us or in our theater. Yep. And then she was coming in. But look, man, she was special needs, wearing a helmet and in a wheelchair and everything. So I'm like,
came in a Star Wars helmet.
Also, it's IMAX, so it's going to be fucking loud as fuck. So there's no chance. Williams. But what I did love was when there was like a quiet scene. Was like, "Indy, what do we do?" And it was this tense scene of all silence, and you hear like, "Ah!" down in the front. I thought that was great.
I will say it straight out, and I will get in trouble. If you know you're disabled and you know you're disability,
if you know you're disabled,
well, there's some disabled people who don't know that they're disabled, I guess.
I'm speaking to one right now.
Okay, if you know you have a disability that might get in the way of other people's...
This is where I'm different. I would be just like that lady. I'd be, fuck these people. I deserve to be here just as much as they do. I don't give a shit if I'm going to be an asshole or if say I have Tourette syndrome. If that's going to ruin the mood for them, too fucking bad. Learn to live in a goddamn environment where other people are going to be, or stay the fuck at home. So this movie's going to be a VOD in 2 weeks anyway. Go fuck yourself.
The enjoyment of 100 people compared to your personal enjoyment, because you can't see that your disability is going to cause problems for everyone else.
I don't care, though. I don't care if it does.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm a selfish person, and she was a selfish lady, and I salute her for it. She sounded like fucking Mum-Ra. It was great.
It wasn't as bad as I was worried it was going to be. It was just a few times, and that's fine. Okay. But I was worried. Like, there's been worse people who are not disabled
that you think,
theaters.
Oh, shit.
God.
We'll get into those fucking people that were beside me. That was great.
Were they in flip-flops? Did they take them off?
Oh, my God. That's Indiana Jones.
No. You know what?
He's the Nazi.
That dude, did you notice? He walked in and he was wearing swim shorts to a movie?
Oh, I did. I didn't notice that. But there was this guy.
Splash Zone? What?
So, and I love how nobody got this joke. And we'll talk about it when it comes up. But when Mads Mikkelsen shows up again, the guy beside me was like, oh, he's the Nazi from before. And I'm like, there's these people, I don't know who they are, but it's like the person, either they're saying it for themselves or they're saying it for the person with them. And I'm like, are you so dumb?
They're saying it for themselves.
But is it because they're really stupid?
It's
like, what is it? Why do they do that?
It's because they want to be seen as smart, but they know they're not.
By saying something that is painfully, let's like, at the end of Force Awakens, it's Luke Skywalker. Like, yeah, we fucking know, dude. He just turned around. Like, it's the same actor who played Luke Skywalker before.
It's his face.
Fucking stupid. I remember, and what started my hatred for these people, and I still remember it, was I went and saw that movie, the remake of Bedazzled with Elizabeth Hurley and Brendan Fraser. And I'll give you 10 guesses as to why I went and saw Bedazzled starring Elizabeth Hurley. But there's a scene where Brendan Fraser goes to jail, and there's this black dude that's in the other cell that's like, what are you in here for, dude? He's like, oh, I know, I was just trying to be a good person. Well, maybe you got to try this, and maybe, the reason, and blah, 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 blah. And there's all this, like, ethereal white dust and light, like sunlight coming in and shining down on this black dude. And so you're like, oh, okay, that's God, right? And he's explaining. And this person behind me, this black guy is saying his speech, and this person behind me goes, oh, that's God. To the person beside them, I was like,
I got it first.
Like, how do you not know that?
He wants the other person to be like, God, this guy's so smart.
This guy must watch a lot of movies.
Fuck, he fucks movies.
He fucks movies.
That's the saying. I wish
I fucked Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Or Brendan Fraser back when he was tight.
The
Mummy, Brendan Fraser.
If
I was about to say Elizabeth Fraser.
If you're good at a certain subject,
that's George Fraser's daughter.
Like Star Wars.
He's a boxer and
I
fucking
fuck
smash
Star Wars.
I would fuck Star Wars.
Rob fucks Star Wars.
I'd stick my dick right into one of those porgs, and then I'd cum in it, and then I'd fucking throw it on a rotisserie and eat it. Anyways, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Meh.
I need to leave.
So
I played with that pork.
I played with it too.
Oh, you want me to go in the plot? Yeah, you did.
But yeah, okay. What did you think of Indiana Jones and the not really kind of sorta?
Yeah. I would say like at most it could get a 7 out of 10. Oh shoot, we're supposed to do that at the end. Yeah. But it gets to good.
That's a good way to put it. It gets to good.
And then lots of it is 5, maybe 4.
How am I gonna?
Yeah, I'm still reading it.
I gotta. How do I? Because I don't want. No, you don't want to be sued.
You can't put your penis in that. Or maybe you can. Maybe you can.
Don't I look like a disabled person? But I know I'm disabled.
But you're causing me issues, so let's not drink anymore.
Yeah, I tell you to do something, you fucking fascist. Speaking of Nazis, you're the biggest fascist here. You fuck.
What was that thing in your other podcast
Indiana
about
Jones.
Mein Kampf?
Oh, yeah. So Keith kept on, we were talking about it, And he kept on calling it mime camp. And I thought like maybe he just, messed up the word when we were upstairs talking about it. Then we
And
come down
he's
to the
brought
podcast.
this up on the podcast before,
Yeah.
like not just that episode.
And he says mime. And I saw it because him and I sit right there. And I stopped, I looked at him, I said, you know that it's not called mime camp. It's called mine camp. He's like, no. I was like, so.
I love how he just like completely like gave in right away, and he's just like, oh, and like mind blown, just right in that moment.
You know the British word for a British fuck. The German word for my is not mime.
But he's never studied German.
He should.
Maybe
He's tall. He's Aryan. Speaking of not C's.
plot. In 1944, during the Allied liberation of Europe in World War II, Nazis capture Indiana Jones and fellow archaeologist Basil Shaw,
Okay.
an Oxford professor, as they attempt to retrieve the Holy Lance of
I'm going to interrupt.
at
So
Nuremberg Castle.
I will say, and I know you're going to disagree, the de-aging technology, 95% of it looks fantastic. When they pull that fucking sheet off of his head and he's looking around and they got the lights out, he looked great.
What sheet?
Remember, they've got the bag over his
No,
head.
I know.
He looks fantastic. He sounds great. They did a really good job of matching up the when he would be like, oof, oof. It sounded like old school Indiana Jones. The only times it fails are when they shine a light right into him and it's reflected off the eyes. That's when it looks wrong. The eyes, they don't have the eyes right yet. But I think, and sometimes when he's like, if he's in a chair and he's tied and he's looking around, they
Yeah.
don't have the kind of, the way the
It's
neck
not
moves, they don't have that right. But when he's dead on and they're looking at him, talking to him, I thought it looked the best I have ever seen it look.
I think the issues that I personally find distracting is that the actor who is playing the double doesn't have the
there's a
same
stunt. Yeah, there's a stunt double,
Yeah.
and then there's a sitting double. That was Harrison Ford.
the stunt double doesn't have the same mannerisms.
Yep.
And same thing for face. Like Harrison Ford isn't in that tower ever.
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
So it's just his face. It's just plastered on this.
Yep. On
Double.
a stunt double.
Poor double. Never gets his face on camera. But some of it sees through.
Yeah.
And especially
mostly-
little nuances, little
Yeah.
things that he would do. Indy would do it different.
Yep. But what I did like is while the movement wasn't Indiana Jones from
Perfect.
Raiders and Last Crusade and Temple of Doom, the kind of like the kind of quick panics, those they got right. I was really impressed by that, but it was just
It was ghostly.
the
wasn't
parts
weird.
the parts where they shine a light on the eyes. I don't get why once they saw the first time that doesn't work. They shouldn't have done that again.
The same problem happens in video games where eyes
really?
are such a problem.
Yeah.
And only some games have gotten it right.
But you know what? It's the eyes are the windows of the soul, and you can't fake it. You know what I mean? It never. I think
No, we just have to get AI to do it.
the only time I've ever seen the eyes work really, really well, honestly, was you know what? They work well in this. They just it's not real as soon as they shine light in those eyes. The other times, it's pretty fucking good.
You start to give it some
Yep.
leeway and you start enjoying it. But
But-
at first you're just like, huh.
But when you think
And
of
then you're like, okay.
because that's not fucking India or Harrison Ford from
hanging
1981.
from the rope.
But like when you look at Gollum looks fantastic and his eyes look great and everything. But you also Gollum's not real, right? You know he was animated, he's rotoscoped on top of somebody.
And he doesn't look like he's right there. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't really look like he's real.
There's parts where I think Gollum looks real. The one part for me where Gollum looks 100% like he's there is especially in the start of Two Towers when they've got him on the elvish rope and they're pulling him. He's like take it off, and he's like whining. He looks fantastic.
I think
part.
that also comes down to how much time the CG place is given.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're not given any, hurry up and do this.
Yeah.
We're only going to give you $100 to do this.
I think if you were to split up the visual effects team's time on this movie, I would say that 40% of their time and budget was dedicated to that de-aging. And then I'd say
the rest was the last battle.
yeah. And then the rest of it was like
That was all CG.
oh man, was it ever?
Well, the whole movie was. but let's give it some space. Let's allow
Just let it breathe like a fine Indiana wine.
Okay. Longinus.
Longinus.
That was, like, why go with that word?
Yeah. So the point too is, and this is one thing that all movies where you've got to go back to the person's backstory, they all do it, and it's stupid every time. But when we've watched Indiana Jones grow up, the great thing about watching Indiana Jones grow up and why the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles was a good idea is Indy had all these buddies throughout his life.
Yeah.
Right? That he's like, oh, I know a guy here, I know a guy here, I know a guy there.
Without them, he wouldn't get out of these troubles. Yeah.
And so that's where Basil Shaw was a necessary evil. So I got it. Yep. Him and Basil were buddies. They did stuff before.
I liked him.
So did I. For me, the problem is the goddaughter thing. Because you feel like the goddaughter thing would have been brought up.
Should have been a daughter thing.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
But I think
somehow.
they already realized they failed that really, really bad with Mutt Lange.
That's true, yeah.
But it just felt like it would have been nice if he didn't know that he was the Godfather and discovers he is. That was the one, I don't want to call it good part, but the one interesting part out of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that he discovers that Mutt's his son. It would have been better if he discovered that Helena was his goddaughter, because that way you're not like, why wasn't he ever bringing it up, or why wasn't he ever thinking of her, and maybe I should look after myself because I don't want my goddaughter to grow up without anybody. You know what I mean?
But he does discover. It's just really quick at the start.
Yeah.
Astrophysicist Jürgen Wohler informs his Nazi superiors that the lance they possess is a fake.
Now, this lance of vagina, it's supposed to be the one that it wasn't Pontius Pilate that Pontius Pilate stabbed Jesus and got blood all over his hands.
I'll take your word for it.
So yeah, I believe, I might be wrong.
I could click here and find out, but
all of our Christian viewers will let us know kindly and politely the way that all religious people respond to.
If you're one of those 300 people on TikTok watching this, comment.
There's not 300 people watching. There's like
300 each video. For
there
the
might be.
one.
Those are all computers. There's 300 de-aged Indiana Jones watching us right now. But I think the sword of vagina, they stabbed Jesus, and but it's
in the long
vagina. Yeah, the long vagina. That's why it's called the sword of long vagina.
Yeah.
And then it's Fowler, right? Bueller. No.
Bueller.
What's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. It's Fowler.
And Baller.
Fowler. How the fuck do you spell it?
Jürgen Wohler.
Voller. Okay. I kept on hearing Fowler in the movie. But Mads Mikkelsen, best part of this movie. Every time he was on fucking screen, I was like, God damn it, I fucking love Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah. Totally.
And I really thought we were getting like a second half that was just Indy and him teaming up to try to get out of this time travel.
Yep.
Time trouble. Whatever. You got me all mixed up. The Nazi superiors that the lance
this is the part that you should cut
is
out.
a fake, but I probably will. But all that thing that you just said. But he has found half of.
This is going to be fun. Now, everybody follow along with this because Phil has no idea.
Jump cuts.
See, I'll say it once.
Jump cuts.
I'll say it once, and Phil's going to be like, okay, I heard Rob say the word Archimedes, and I'll be able to remember it for how he just said it.
I know the word.
And you will not be able to remember the name.
But it's the other things that just the
Oh, yeah, okay. Say that. Now,
I heard it in the movie.
The Dial of Destiny is not... Why didn't they just call it the Dial of Destiny?
Yeah, just short form it, kind of nickname it.
Or the dial. Nobody even fucking refers to it as a fucking dial.
I think because they didn't want immediately people to think that it was going to be a time machine.
I guess. Yeah, maybe.
That wasn't given away till like halfway through the movie.
So for absolutely no reason, Voller has the, I believe it's pronounced Antikythera machine.
Yeah, you're right.
He has this machine, and then...
Yes, half of it.
Yeah, I can't. I do believe they mentioned that he's only got half of it, though.
He says it,
but I get it comes out of nowhere.
It's funny because we lost the fake sword thing, but I happen to have half of the Antikythera, and this is why you should care.
But I did like that the other SS officer that's got to go report to Hitler. he says to him, "Oh, okay. So you want me to go tell Hitler that the sword that pierced Christ is fake, but you have half of a fucking
Time machine?
worthless time machine."
Well, even he doesn't say time machine yet because
he goes like some clock or
an
something.
abacus, like
And like he says to him, he goes, "Have you met Hitler?" Which I thought was good.
which I thought at first, like I didn't know time machine. I didn't think. I'm not thinking anything going into this movie really.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, they've got this like crazy old age computer that would be huge for like timing.
See, so they have the. You say it now. I've said it already.
It's the Antikythera.
Yeah. So they have the Antikythera machine. I thought so. As soon as they say it finds fissures in time, so. Indy goes and we discover Indy's retiring and they give him a clock and then he doesn't care about it. So again, it was as soon as they give him a clock, I was like, oh, that's the dead giveaway about what this movie is about.
I just love it. He just gives it away.
But he gives it away, but they give Indy a clock. So this movie's about time.
Yeah.
Does Indy care about time?
Not in that way.
How do you know he doesn't care about it?
Well, he does care about time.
How do you know?
He says it at the end.
Okay, I'm using it as an analogy for the movie. How do you know that Indy doesn't care about the current time? Because he gives the clock away?
Okay.
So that's the analogy that this movie is going to be about time, but Indy doesn't care about time. So I was like, when they said it's a device that develops can find fissures in time. That's when my brain went, oh. Okay,
and Indy is a fisher in time. He likes fishing.
I get anal fissures all the time.
And yeah, so Rob got it right away from all that.
Yeah. But no, I got it when Indy hands a guy the clock. They give him a clock.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then he gives it away. The only way I was thinking in my head what was going to happen is he's going to go home and he's going to put that clock up on the thing and then he's going to be kind of looking at the clock and you're hearing the tick, tick, tick and Indy's just kind of looking at it. That would have been a bit too on the nose, but he gives the clock away. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a time travel movie, isn't it?
An astronomical calculator, it leads users to fissures in time.
And this is what Helena, he explains it to Helena. Helena shows up. Helena was Basil's daughter, Indy's goddaughter. La 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 la. Indy wears the Dial of Destiny. He gives her the Dial of Destiny. She steals it. And then, lots of things happen. Parade, gunshots. Indy rides a horse.
They take. We're not even following the plot.
Who cares?
So she comes.
Yeah,
okay.
it's me that's got to be
Why
cut
does she
out.
come right away?
Because Indy's good at
selfish,
sex. Girls should come first. If you can get them to come right away, that's great.
True. Then it's out of the way.
Right? Then you can spend the rest of the 58 minutes, get your money back.
She shows up because she knows he has the Antikythera. Yeah.
Yep.
That thing.
The Antikythera.
It's going to be said different each time.
I thought you were going to try to say Archimedes. I thought they had that in the start.
And then they did. I just
skipped over that part.
So she wants that. She takes it and goes on. And then we go on the rooftops.
Now, here is where it makes the mistake, the same fucking mistake that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull made. So there's Hairdo Guy and Big Gorilla Guy, right? And they're both bodyguards who are looking after Voller. So you're like, okay, in your head, they want you to believe Voller because, and we all know that Germans were responsible for sending, the Germans were responsible for the science that went into sending the Mars mission, the Apollo 11 to the moon.
Okay,
right?
Yeah. And nuclear.
Yeah, and nuclear fission and all that sort of stuff. But they, I thought it was, they're protecting him because he's a German. They don't want anything bad to happen to him. They want to show him their thankfulness, but he's still a German, right? He's no longer a Nazi, but he's still a German. So I thought these two guys were looking after him. They were like his escorts.
Sure.
And then Indy takes Helena into this.
Was kind of almost true.
Almost true. Indy takes Helena into this library where they keep fucking shit.
Yeah.
And gives her.
It's his own personal warehouse.
Yep. And gives her the Antikythera. At that point, Muscles and Hairdo.
Muscles could have been anyone like, from like wrestling or something. No, I don't even know who that is.
But you know who Muscles was? Muscles was the German that came out and beat the shit out of Indy and then got killed by the plane in Raiders 1. He was the big Indian bodyguard that was whipping kids that got pulled into the rock destroyer in Temple of Doom.
Okay.
They always
But I
gotta
mean
have
the actor.
Why?
The actor just
all
was
the
no
other
one.
fucking actors who've done it have been nobodies.
Yeah.
So they always have the one guy that Indy has to fight, the big guy that Indy has to fight. Except for in number 3. If I remember number 3, the big guy that Indy has to fight is the skinny Nazi general that goes over the side of the thing on a tank. But that's neither here nor there. Point is, these guys show up. Helena steals the Dial of Destiny, and then these guys start like
Killing
shooting
people.
witnesses, and I'm like, what? And then Voller shows up and says, no, don't kill him, you fucking idiot. And then they're chasing after Indy, I think, to kill him, and they're also chasing after Helena, I think, to get back the Dial of Destiny. And then
I think they were just trying to get the end to Cathera, the Dial of Destiny.
But then there's that black, I think she's a CIA operative.
Who was just attached to them.
Sure, I get, but
So what it comes down to, the CIA was funding this part
of Voller.
Yeah, because they
But it
want
comes down
Voller's
to
information, his smarts.
A bunch of kind of double crossers and double agents and shit like that. That was the exact same fucking mistake they made with Ray Winstone in Kingdom of Crystal Skull. Yeah. It's so fucking stupid. And then as soon as they started doing that, I was like, oh man, don't do this. It should have been more straightforward. It's a story about, and this is where I don't get why they made this mistake. It's a story about Nazis. Nobody needs to be told to hate the Nazis.
Yep.
And as soon as someone works with the Nazis, the way that fucking oh Christ, I forgot his name, Donovan. The way that Donovan works with the Nazis in Last Crusade, as soon as you find out he's working with the Nazis, like, it's a great fucking reveal where he walks in and Sean Connery leads to Indiana Jones, says, how'd you know she was a Nazi? And he says, Donovan goes, because he didn't take my advice. Don't trust anyone. And he turns around to this Donovan, and you're like, oh, like, that was an awesome reveal. No reveals like that in this fucking movie because you've got to double crosser, but this guy's also working with it. It's like, stop doing that. If they're a fucking Nazi, I know they're bad. And if there's an American working with a Nazi, I know they're fucking bad because they're working with fucking Nazis.
Also, the other side, the goddaughter has a son, which isn't a son, just some kid she met on the road that she took in, and now he happens to be learning how to drive pilot a plane, and all this doesn't matter. You could have cut the kid completely out of the movie.
No, you couldn't.
Totally.
Why? Because you have to play it safe. What's the one part of Temple of Doom that everybody liked? What's the one part of Temple of Doom that everybody liked? He's recently become very famous for being in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Short Round.
Yeah.
This kid.
You were hoping Short Round would show up.
I was hoping Ke Quan showed up, but this kid, as soon as you see him, you're like, that's Helena Short Round. And so they're like, hey, remember Short Round?
But it was dumb.
Remember? But it's
didn't go
not
anywhere.
there to be intelligent. It's there to remind you, hey, remember Short Round?
The only payoff to it is, we have a second plane.
Yeah, and he helps her out all the time. He gets her out of trouble.
She could have gotten herself out of trouble every single time.
Short Round.
Who cares?
People care.
No
because
one
they go,
cares.
That's like Short Round.
No one cares.
Yes, they do.
Only what you need in this for this movie are casuals to be interested. You don't need the hardcore Indiana Jones.
They're not hardcore Indiana Jones. The only people going to see the 5th Indiana Jones movie are people who have seen the first fucking 4 Indiana Jones movies.
Casual Indiana, not even
what the
casual,
fuck is a casual Indiana Jones person?
Oh, that Indiana Jones, that
I've
sounds
never heard
like
of
fun.
this. I've never heard of this Indiana Jones. Where is he from? Somewhere in Indiana?
How many?
What's that? There were 4 films before?
How many millennials don't care about Indiana Jones?
How many millennials know who Short Round is?
None of them.
Bullshit. I think the majority of them know jack shit about Temple of Doom, but they all know who fucking Short Round is.
Oh, you mean from a different movie?
No, from fucking Temple of Doom.
They wouldn't know.
You're full of shit.
They wouldn't know.
It's been 30 minutes, and I think we're at the first paragraph of this plot.
You don't care. But no one cares. answer us on Wiki.
On
No.
Wikipedia. Answer us on Wikipedia. Put in your answer. We're going to create a Watch It Complain Wikipedia article.
We
and you
can't
just put it in.
we can't create it. Someone else has to create it.
All
for
right,
us.
someone else create it and say these two fuck ups, and then we'll just comment at the bottom.
Just do a stat page of how many times I fuck up.
How many different ways you pronounce Etiquetheria.
Oh,
But okay, so I do one joke that I think flew over everybody's heads because I was the only one in the theater that laughed. Is so Mads Mikkelsen has the Dial of Destiny. He's keeping it in his hand. He's got it in like a satchel or some shit. And then they're on top of a train. This is in the Star Wars back in 1944.
Okay, yeah.
They're on top of a train, and the long arm that's extended that freight trains used to grab like
Someone's
mail and
watching
stuff
this
from.
who hasn't watched the movie, and they're like, usually they go through the plot. I'm so lost right now.
Is Indiana Jones even in this movie?
Wait, there was 2 time frames?
It cracks Mads Mikkelsen in the head, and you hear like a ding because it's metal, right? And you're like, oh, he's dead. And you're
He's
like,
fucked,
of course he's
yeah.
not fucking dead.
Like that
And what I did like
rail just went through his head.
Was him and Mads Mikkelsen are looking at each other at the thing where Helen is trying to auction off the Dial of Destiny, and he looks at Indiana Jones. He's like, "Do we know each other?" And Indiana Jones goes, "Well, your face rings a bell." And I was like, "Ha!" Laughing, and everyone else in the theater. I guarantee
didn't get it.
I guarantee the dumb fuck beside me was like, huh? I should have turned to him and go, because his fucking head hit a fucking bell back in 1944. Oh, then he would have nudged his wife. That guy's face hit a bell. Like, it was, how was I the only one that got that
I
fucking
didn't get
joke?
it.
Unreal.
Until just now.
Unfucking
And it's
real.
still like, eh.
I can't believe I was the only one that got it.
But that whole thing where it's like, okay, he's back. He's fine.
Yeah. Voller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, okay, then what if this is where my mind's going, oh, this is how they could twist it up. And what if that's not him from then, but
Oh.
this
Like
guy goes back in time and becomes that?
And see, what I wanted was once the whole movie's over, so, sorry, we're going to spoil it now. Voller decides he wants to use the Dial of Destiny to go back to before Hitler took control, get rid of Hitler, and he will make Germany win the war by not making all the mistakes that Hitler made.
Which he doesn't understand that once you don't make that first mistake, everything changes. He can't make the same
But who cares?
correction.
It's an Indiana Jones
doesn't-
time travel movie.
That doesn't make any...
They should have set that up right when Voller and Indy meet at that first fucking point.
Yeah.
That way you know what the stakes are from the first time they meet.
But we still don't know how he even got the Antikythera, which brings me back to what I was thinking and like,
that
what
he
if...
got back. Yep. But the point is, if they had set up that's what Indy's up against, a guy that wants to go back in time and will make the Germans win, right?
Yeah.
That's a real
Straightforward,
reason to be afraid. That's a real these are stakes worth fighting
He
for.
wants to become the
in
new
fact,
Hitler, sure.
yeah, like I would have been like, oh man, oh shit. As interested as I got in the last 20 minutes when they reveal that, it would have been that from like an hour into the movie.
Could you imagine if those two went back and they saw Hitler and like you
and then they had to fight. Like, would have been. What if they have to avoid themselves back in the? Like, there was so much room
so much
to do that.
do.
But they decided. I
Go
guess they decided,
swimming
like,
instead.
We don't want to do. What do you call it? We don't want to do Back to the Future. So let's do whatever the fuck we're doing in this movie instead. Which just and again,
nothing.
it wasn't very good. But so another thing that we got to mention, I'm sure I don't mention it here, whatever, is they're on a speeding train. So when they're back in, is it 46 or 44? The war's not done yet. 44, yeah. So they're back in 44, and they're on this train. They've stolen the Dial of Destiny, and they're on top of a train. This train is going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the Allies start coming in and bombing everything, right? So they blow up the bridge. Indy and Basil Shaw jump off the bridge, and then it's the next morning.
To avoid the train falling off the bridge and all that.
Then it's the next morning, and
They don't even show it.
Nope. They show the explosion at the end of the bridge.
Yeah.
But they don't. And the train just speeding towards it.
Yeah.
And then they show Indy and Basil looking up at it.
Now, what did you expect would happen to the train?
Obliterated. That train should be fucking obliterated.
It should be like Back to the Future.
Yep. And fucking, it's like floating down the same fucking river that Indy and Basil are in.
If there's anything left.
And that whole goddamn bridge should be just gone, right? Instead, the fucking train looks like a penis that failed on re-entry because it's just cranked fucking down.
The bridge is broken like this, and the train goes and stops.
Yep, just stop it.
What?
No shockwave problems to the end of it. Nothing that came forward and fucking spun over it. Nope, it just went 100 miles an hour, stopped. And you're like, no, that's not how that fucking
bit
works.
Of crimpling, but
it was. I remember seeing that and I was like, what? I'm fucking sorry. I just saw how fast that train was going. It doesn't stop like that.
There's no walls on this bridge. Nothing to hold it in place. If it would have crumpled and then gone
what would have been
off
cool is if Basil and Indy looked up and there's some part of the train that's missing because it went through like a portal into another time or something. You'd be like, wow, the fucking Dial of Destiny works. Oh, this is going to be an interesting movie. No, fuck it.
It didn't work at that point. It was half of it.
But they went back and said, and Voller was like, okay, we need to save the guys in front of this train.
If it was unexplained, one of those unexplained moments, and he's like, what the
Exactly.
And then later on, it's explained via them using the
some stakes that get set up. Instead, it's like, oh, look, the Crink Dick train that fucking nobody got killed on except the guys that we killed. Yeah, well,
please forget about the train. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Not to mention, we're in the middle of Poland. Sure, the Allies are bombing shit, but you know who's still around in Poland? A lot of fucking Germans, okay?
But they come out of the water and
they're like, hey, Americans, don't worry, we're American. We're just coming up out of this fucking... there's a German boat. Oh, sorry, British. We're even worse. We're Americans. We're totally not Nazis. I know we just fell off this Nazi train and I'm dressed like a Nazi.
Exactly.
But we're not Nazis, so just fucking believe us.
You come out of the
we've got
water.
this fucking this Dial of Destiny, half a fucking Pokemon watch, but don't worry, we're definitely not Nazis.
You come out of the water as a Nazi, you're getting shot.
Right? Look, another Nazi to fucking shoot. Like,
you think war crimes are bad now. Back
look at
then,
the
no one
aging
cared.
on that guy. That's totally a fucking Nazi. Fucking bullshit.
We should have a ticker for every time we say Nazi on the show. Take two.
Maybe we're going to get a different type of audience, which we don't want.
YouTube is going to totally take us off.
That's going to be the hard part of anybody that's talking about this movie, though, is how many times they're going to have to say fucking Nazi when they're discussing the movie.
So, like a time machine, we're going to go back to 1969 New York, where they abduct Indiana Jones, and the goddaughter is running away from them. And them being the Germans or whatever.
The German and the Indian, idiots. German and the CIA henchmen.
Yeah, I read that.
I guess, yeah.
The German and the black CIA agent. Anyway, they're running through the parade route.
Yep.
Of Buzz Aldrin.
Neil Armstrong, and then the one guy we always forget.
Yeah, the ones that walked on the moon.
Well, two of them walked on the moon. The other guy stayed in the shuttle.
We don't say that.
Why?
He doesn't like that.
I think he's fucking dead.
Okay. The parade for them is happening. All this woohoo and all this this chase happens during the parade.
You know what? I will say,
and we get to the horse.
The majority of this scene, the CG was acceptable. It looked pretty good. In this part, I never for a moment thought that they're on a stage, which they were on a stage.
I never for a moment thought they were surrounded by real people,
not at all,
at a parade.
But I never thought they were on a stage, which they were on a stage. But I was tricked enough.
This is one of those things that I told you after the movie, where I wish this movie took the money and made everything practical.
Yep,
and actually did a parade somewhere
and go back in time.
No, yes, actually did go. Fuck you.
That's what they should have done.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So they go through this chase scene with a horse. Indiana Jones is on a horse, and
hey, you know what?
Russian.
I remember when Indiana Jones was on a horse in the other two movies, the great ones, the ones with Nazis.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Indiana Jones on a horse.
I couldn't remember because all I was hoping for was Short Round to be in this movie.
Short Round was in the fucking movie. He was Helena's little sidekick.
Whatever makes you happy.
It will make me happy.
Anyway, this horse ended up in a subway, going down and being chased by a subway. Train.
Yeah, it's a rail train.
A real train.
A real train.
Probably not.
You know what it's called? A subway train.
Ooh. I should use that. So my issue was when it's a small issue. You hate when I have these small issues, but
I often have them too.
this
so it's
horse
all right.
jumps back onto the platform to get away from the train because evil train.
Now hold on, you have to set it up right. This horse is running at full speed away from the train, and then it jumps onto the subway platform.
And then, a second later, just back to like
Trotting. Yeah.
Not even. I think it stopped, and then started trotting. And I'm like, did you cut at the wrong time? Did you not cut at the right time? Like,
But then Indy gets off the horse,
physics,
gets into the train, subway train, and the train takes off.
as people do.
And he turns to the lady beside him, and he says to her, subway's faster or something like that, or the subway is faster than a horse, something like that is the joke.
But her vantage point would never have seen the horse.
The point is, that's supposed to be the no ticket joke from Last Crusade.
I'm not a huge Indiana Jones person, hence the short round shit.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Indiana Jones. I've watched these movies hundreds of times.
You know what I've seen more? The knockoff Quartermain.
Oh, Alan Quartermain, Lost City of Gold, or The Mummy.
There's
Brendan
three of
Fraser's
them.
The Mummy. Yeah.
Isn't there 3 Quartermains?
I believe there's 2. I believe there's Alan Quartermain, King Solomon's Mines, and then the second one is Alan Quartermain and the Lost City of
My
Gold.
mother loved them, and I hated them as a kid because she watched them all. That and Back in Action or something. Chuck Norris.
Not Missing in Action. Maybe
Missing in Action. Who's that?
I think
Is
it's
it Chuck Norris or is
yeah.
it some?
What I
knockoff
like
dude?
was my mom. The same thing. She was a fan of Alan Quartermain, Lost City of Gold, and I have completely forgotten the actor's name who plays him, but he was a gay man. And she thought that he was just so handsome and oh man, what I would give for a night with him. And I'm like, I think what he wouldn't give for a night with
And
you
then
because
she
he's a gay
found
man.
out he's gay, and she's like, "Oh, am I gay?
She's like, am I a woman? Did I have these children?
You don't have to be.
That's right. It's a
We
new
don't judge.
world, people.
Yeah, whatever you want. No, whatever you feel. Whatever you.
All right, let's watch you dig yourself into this hole. You go ahead. I'm just gonna sit over here and drink my.
You know what?
beverage.
I'm not wearing my Pride shirt. That doesn't help.
It's because June is over. You don't need to pretend you like gay people anymore.
Just June.
You don't have to pretend you like gay people anymore. That's awful.
Thank you.
So
Or mermaids.
Speaking of movies that fucking drop like
Did
a
you watch
stone,
it?
No.
Okay, I'm waiting for it. We should watch it when it comes to digital download.
Disney Plus.
Oh, that'll be in a year, right?
It will come to
In Disney.
Disney Plus tomorrow. I can't wait to
We're
watch
waiting on a couple movies.
The Little Mermaid on Disney Plus.
Netflix. They're going to put on anything they can.
But that movie fucking, I didn't hear anything about it. And it was funny. So
He's dropped.
there's these kids that I walked to the bus stop, like I mentioned
Dropped
before.
like Flash.
And this kid, Nora, she's a huge fan of Little Mermaid, right? And I said, did you go see the new one? She's like, no. And I'm like, why not? I thought you loved the Little
Are
Mermaid.
your parents racist?
Well, I said to her, I go, do you not, like, why would you not want to go see the new one? She goes, because the only reason that they want people to go see the new one is because the Little Mermaid's black. She goes, I don't care what color the Little Mermaid is.
Yeah.
If that's the only reason they want people to see the movie, I don't really care to go see it. And I was like, it's pretty smart for a fucking 10-year-old kid. Because she goes, if it's going to be all the same, I'll just
That's what we want. We want it to be all the same.
But her point was, I'll just stay with the one that I like. Why should I go see a new one? The only reason that I imagine, I'm not going to get inside a 10-year-old kid's head, but the only reason they want kids to go see it is, hey, now she's black and everything's live action.
Well, the live action is the clincher, but they want to make
Sphincter clincher. I don't know. And you know what? I will watch it, but I guarantee I'm going to be weirded the fuck out by Scribbles, or what's the bird? Squawkers, whatever his name is, and Flounder.
I bet they're like just quick cameos.
Quick cameos.
Cameos,
One is
so
the
you
Flounder
really wanna
is
get it off.
Aquafina, and the Scribbles is someone in Aquafina's Flounder.
Okay.
But I don't want to see a real fish talk. I don't
saw-
want to see a fucking crab talk.
I listened to your other podcast where you were trying to name all the Disney characters. Yeah, this is not going
was
to
it?
go
No,
well.
was it Disney?
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, The Lion King. That's right.
Don't
Listen to the
go-
other podcast.
go watch.
I like Indiana Jones. I don't want my two worlds colliding.
I'm promoting your other podcast.
Don't.
Okay.
I don't like those people.
Someone who's watching is like, oh, what other podcast? We don't even mention the
hear it.
name ever.
Give it a fake name.
this guy and four other
43 others. Movie 43.
That'd be awesome. Rob and 43 others.
That's what my porno title
It's
is.
just you interviewing people on the street, and you have to do 43
Hey, will you talk to me? Hey,
other
will you talk to
people.
me? No, that won't go. Hey, you. Hey, wait, stop. Oh, no, he left too. And that's eventually it's just 40 people that go by, and then the podcast is over.
No, you go up to them and you're like, oh, I want your opinion on Little Mermaid. And then they start and you're like, no. And you start doing your opinion.
I want your opinion on Little Mermaid. Oh, is that the film with the Little Mermaid? Yes, idiot. You know she's black? Oh, well, I haven't seen the film. Fuck you, racist. On to the next person.
This is why it didn't go anywhere.
Who didn't go anywhere?
You, with this podcast.
With either of them.
With any of them, yeah. Where were we? Horse.
Yeah, horse. So yeah, the horse jumps up on the subway train. It makes
We'll
no
just drop
sense.
it there.
And then is Indy. So one thing you can say about 1969 is it's not 2001 yet, so you can jump on a plane anywhere apparently. So Indy goes to.
With the map scene, always.
Yep, which is fine. I'm cool with that. But he goes to, like Egypt or something. Yeah, he goes to Egypt because I think Salah's there. I can't remember. Whatever. Also, Salah's back. Remember Salah? Remember Salah? Remember Salah's in Raiders?
Tangier.
In Tangier. Remember he's in Salah's in Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade? Salah.
I liked it.
Remember?
You know why I liked
Indiana
it?
Jones?
Can you link it to a show that I really love?
Oh yeah, I believe it's Paddington Bear.
When he voiced the bear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Indy. I'm Paddington Bear.
Oh, that works. I like it. Or Teddy Ruxpin.
My favorite thing is marmalade, Indy.
With the cassette tape.
Oh, my kids think this is the funniest thing. I don't know why, but it was funny when it happened. So when I was younger, I had a friend of mine who had a younger sister, and she had a Teddy Ruxpin, and we were all death metal fans. So we would always put Slayer's the album Rain and Blood, which has Angel of Death. We'd always put Angel of Death into Teddy Ruxpin. And Teddy Ruxpin, his mouth just goes, whenever you press play, his mouth just, and his ears kind of move. And so he would be like, infamous butcher, Angel of Death. He would be singing little Teddy Ruxpin's voice. And it was the funniest thing in the world. And I told my boys about it. And they thought it was super fucking funny. So now I gotta find a Teddy Ruxpin somewhere and find a cassette of Rain and Blood.
I'm sure there's reasonable facsimiles.
Facsimilitibies, yep.
I don't know.
You know what I can
happened in
find
my
them with?
mouth
The
there. That was
Antikythera.
weird. That was so weird.
Facsimilitibies.
I didn't even
Facsimilitibies.
see that coming. That was weird.
The real question is, what were you trying to say?
The real question is, what's in my drink?
Facsimilitibies.
Vodka/facsimile.
Facsimilitibies.
Jones travels to Tangier. We're just going to get into it, and prevents Helena from selling the dial. Who cares? Go on.
Yeah, then they have
Water.
they have a little golf
Oh,
cart
the chasey. I hated it.
Yeah, but it was Indiana. It was very
Half of
Indiana
it I
Jones.
liked
But
it,
you're like,
but then it was like,
you knew how it ends. And then they do water displacement. They're all smelling methane.
That's it.
They do some water
they
displacement.
go in a boat, and they go with a world-class diver
Ontario Banderas.
who, for some reason, I thought was the guy that does Mandalorian.
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Because I'm racist.
I wish that Ontario Banderas said something like Puss in Boots. And then
We should just team them up. Dude.
Indiana Jones, I am Puss in Boots.
So they get this guy who doesn't matter, by the way, to take, it's just a quick cameo, to take them down to a wreck that's so far down under the water, and then they just, you know how we don't get the bends? We do it quickly.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, so we jump down maybe 3 meters, which is supposed to be
Now we're on the bottom of the ocean.
100 to 500 meters down. And they're like, okay, here we go. We're halfway there. And I'm like, what? You can see the fucking boat from the boat.
Because then the Nazis show up and they cut their air cable, and you can see a guy jumping from the Nazi boat over to their boat and cutting and then the cable spinning all around. I'm like, aren't we supposed to be on the bottom of the ocean? That part was really stupid.
It was horrible.
But it was, you know what? It was stupid fun. I'll admit that I was like, okay, this is dumb, but I'm having fun with this. I wasn't.
And then eels were the snakes in this movie.
Yeah.
CG eels all over the place. I was just bored by that.
But yeah, and you know why? In all seriousness, it's because I think the movie wants to be on the same pace as Harrison Ford. So even the movie is a little tired. The movie moves a little slowly. The movie doesn't want to move fast.
I don't think that at all. I think they're just trying to do a Jurassic World.
No, I think they're trying to do an Indiana Jones. They're trying to do an Indiana Jones movie.
But in terms of like how Jurassic World is trying to get all these homages, all the same points from Jurassic Park or the other ones.
What do they call them? Member berries? That's what the South Park guys call them. Member berries. When you remember something from a previous movie or something previous and you're like, oh, I remember that. They're called member berries. That's how it works. But, so then they get the other half of the Dial of Destiny.
You have 9 minutes.
They put it together. Now our Dial of Destiny is all together.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, who cares? And then Voller gets hold of it.
The tomb stuff was good. I want more of that.
That's fun. But, so then Voller gets it.
They rushed through it, too.
Oh, man, they were rushing to the ending. Because I think what's fucked up is they're rushing to the ending because they know that they have this super cool reveal that Voller's going to give. And they're like, dude, the audience is going to love that. And we did. I don't think there was one person in the audience that didn't love that reveal. That reveal should have been an hour into the fucking movie. So they go back in time. They open a fissure in space, and who cares?
Where'd that come from?
And so here's what, you're legit like, oh, dude, they're going to go back. And then Indy just goes, oh, wait, continental drift. Archimedes didn't know about continental drift.
Oh, my God. We're going to the wrong time.
But Harrison Ford delivers it just like a continental drift. Yeah. Archimedes didn't know about continental drift. That means you fucked up.
Well, he delivered it like an old man on a
like
toilet.
A grumpy old bastard.
Who needed new toilet paper. Like, continental drift.
He's such a grumpy old fuck in this movie that I was like, dude, you're ruining Indiana Jones.
He's playing it off on like the YouTube clips and all that. He's saying, oh, I wanted them to do old me, older me. And it's just like, okay.
I don't buy it, dude. I think this is who you are. Mm-hmm. I think you're just a grumpy old bastard. So you made Indiana Jones a grumpy old... Absolutely. And Indiana Jones is his character. He's Indiana Jones. I just don't want this Indiana Jones. I love my 1, 2, 3 Indiana Jones.
I don't mind this Indiana Jones. I'm just bored of how they did it.
Yeah.
Because the how much stuff that's in this movie could have been 3 movies if they had good pacing on each movie.
Yeah, and if they had paced this a lot better, this could have been a quick 2-hour. It like even with older Indiana Jones, it could have been fantastic to watch. Yeah. You know, but so Voller realizes, no, this is fucked up. They go through anyway. They're in like 200 BC when
which was fun.
But how lucky they are to be in Egypt, not Germany.
Just happened to go to the place
the guy
who made the clock.
Yeah. And I was like, this is really stupid, but okay, I'm having fun.
I mean, it was a fun moment, yes.
But one thing I didn't expect when Indy's like, no, I want to stay here. I want to stay here. I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. If they
Butterfly wings.
If they do, I'll be like, this is fuck, because he would know. He would have fucked it up. He would have fucked up the past. Yeah. And that's what Helen was like, no, you'll fuck something up. So at least she's a voice of reason.
But then they could have played on that and been like, he's got the dial from back then.
Yeah.
He could have just gone to the future.
But I did like how there was no convincing Indy, like, oh, Indy, think about your son, or nothing like that. She just goes, yeah, sorry, bang, and fucking punches him across the face. I like that. I thought that was funny.
And of all places, she takes him back to the current time where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the big reveal was like, take him back to be with his son, yes, and stop. But I think and then we get a small cameo of
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld, who is the new son.
He's the new Indiana Jones. What's with all these snakes?
I think snakes.
The fissure is only open to the doorway where you came from, right? I think that was the
original
idea.
Fissure, but this dial finds the fissures. There's different fissures.
Oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Who
Which
cares?
leads us to the fact that we could have another set of like a new Indiana Jones that is like the Fisher guy, the guy who likes
Fisher
to fish.
King. They already made that movie.
Exactly.
But yeah, so then Marion's there, and they do the whole Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. Doesn't hurt here, doesn't hurt here, doesn't hurt, and they kiss in the end.
Which was dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a nice homage. I get it. It's what everyone wants to see who's a hardcore Indiana Jones fan. But speaking on behalf of someone who's casual here, I don't give two shits about this ending. It sucked.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
You
but
could have brought him
was
back
fine.
to his son. And
I'd rather see Marion before I see Mutt again. Mutt.
it doesn't matter. It's just a character. You could have replaced
Mutt.
what's his face.
Mutt. They should have had a de-aged Indiana Jones be his own son. You're like, wow, son, you look just like me.
Well,
I know,
thought,
Dad.
I thought the whole point with this dial is that when you go back in time, you become that age that you're going to.
No. When the fuck has that ever happened?
Exactly, something new. It would limit where you go because you can't go to the dinosaurs now because you don't exist. You don't have a thing. You can only
be a
go
sperm.
along your destiny.
I'd be a little hair itching my dad's pants. Like maybe a hair in his
You
bag.
could do that, but then you'd forget everything.
It's true.
So it'd be pointless.
Can you imagine a sentient hair on your testicles?
It would be nice if you could go back in time into your own self
No.
as a teenager
Nope.
and then restart that process.
No. God, I hated
I would
myself
love
as a
that.
teenager.
Exactly, but you can change yourself.
But I looked the same. So I'd be a skinny, acne-covered fucking grease ball.
But then you change yourself. You start going to the gym, you start running, whatever you want to do. And you know now that how to take care of yourself better than you did back then.
Nah.
I would go straight to the doctor and go, give me that surgery. Because it changed my world.
The dick lengthening surgery.
I didn't need it because of this surgery.
I'd want to go back in time and get
That's all I'm saying.
reincarnated
I'd said
as a
too much.
girl's bike seat.
Reincarnated as Phil's penis. No one wants that.
Or the vagina that Phil's penis is going into, so I can yell because I'm a sentient vagina now,
did
and
you
I'm
just
yelling,
say-
"I'm filled! I'm filled! I'm filled!"
You just said on our podcast that you want to become my wife's vagina.
Yes, your wife's sentient vagina.
All right.
Oh yeah, that makes it okay. If I say sentient, that saying my wife's vagina is not the bad part. Now you said her sentient vagina. Now it's fine.
200 and how many episodes? And I'm not arguing. You've said it all at this
You know what's going
point.
to happen is you're going to be sleeping tonight, and your wife's going to be awake, ready to buck, and you'll be like, "No, not my wife's sentient vagina." And your wife's going to look at you. What the fuck did they talk about on
the
that
next
podcast?
time she offers me sex, which doesn't happen, I'm just going to think of Rob.
Offer? Wow, you get,
Again.
You get offered sex?
That's why I said doesn't happen.
I was going to say, man,
When did that last happen?
offering. I cannot.
Got to beg for it.
But it's not even you have to beg for it now. Now
You have to want it.
it's to the point now where it's like, so, do you want to have sex? There's no more of the bullshit that you did back in like the
that
20s.
Perfect time
or when you were in
frame
your 20s.
that the kids are all outside or
There is when you're like, okay, they're focused on whatever show or whatever app they're using. We've got like
Something
fucking
new.
5 minutes, so harden up right now, get going. If
then
you
you're
want to
just
do
like,
this, do it right now. I have to.
I could play this game.
See, no, for me, it's nothing like that. For me now, it's like, I go to sleep. For me now, everything's like, I want to go to sleep. Because I'm old. Here's the dead space you should be cutting out.
That's the end of the podcast. Just I'm getting old.
Dun, 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 dun.
We can only sing it. We can't play the actual song.
Oh, all right. So Indiana Jones and the.
I haven't even finished editing the
All
last
right, I'm
episode.
sorry. Oh, I thought you were going to say you were not finished talking about
Oh,
something.
I don't care.
All right, the point is,
What would
Indiana
you
Jones
rate it?
and the kind of sorta. If I'm being honest, it's got to be 6. But because I did like some of the little hey remember berries
That's what I'm saying.
of thing, I'll give it a 7.
It gets to good.
Yep,
at
I'll give it a
points.
7.
Yeah.
What about you, Indiana Jones and the kind of sortas?
I've already said it. It gets to good.
Oh, no one's gonna fucking remember. You're not the best person on the podcast. I am.
Technically rating it a 7, but it's mostly a 6.
Yeah. If you didn't have the
Some
Indiana Jones
5.
nostalgia, it would be a 6. But because there's that Indiana Jones nostalgia, I give it a 7.
Although if you were a casual and you came in and you liked time issues, you kind of be 6, 7, yeah.
Yep.
So 6.
I don't know
7.
what that fucking sentence was.
don't know.
Whatever you said. I heard a bunch
I'm
of
like,
6B time travel
disagree with-
7RS.
I'll disagree
Hashtag.
with this point, but then get to the exact same point you made. So yeah.
What the fuck is that? You just fucking drift off. See, me, I go on these long rambling tirades where nobody knows what I'm talking about. You just kind of drift off into space.
That's how my brain works. The ADHD,
Yeah, the AGHD.
the de-aging pills, they wore off a long time ago.
AGD.
Now I'm old.
Oh, I'm old. That's the word. Who's the...
We're grumpy old men.
my-
You know it when we go.
So-
I'm so old.
A friend of mine named Dale from back in Brampton. So hello, Dale. Hopefully you're not watching this still. Dale brought up that he loves watching our show because he goes, I just call it the two grumpy old men that watch movies. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. We see all these hip, cool kids doing shit on YouTube. They're like, hey, we're hip and young and we were born in the 2000s. And then you and I are like, we're fucking old and we bitch about
hate
things.
the CG. We hate the movie.
Back in my day, movies had zippers.
Remember when I first wanted to change the name to this podcast to Watch and Complain, and we got comments saying, why would you want it to be so negative? Have you seen the show?
You weren't now. Oh my God, my PC's running low.
Just like us, his battery is running low.
Thank you for everybody for watching. Oh no, wait, I said it wrong. So cut that part out.
Oh, you're me.
So now, like, be frozen and like, whoop, right back into it again. We are sorry that you've been watching Watch and Complain. Please follow us on all of our social media followerisms, like the website, watchandcomplain.com, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram,
Watch Complain.
on Grindr.
It's the only one that's different because someone stole Watch and Complain.
That's a bunch of bullshit. They're probably a fan site.
Probably
of ours.
not even using it.
Fan site.
That'd be cool. I'd allow that. Yeah, that's fine.
I allow that. I bet there's a lot of like.
I'll stop reporting it. Sorry, guys.
I bet there's a lot of like my face photoshopped
On
like,
my body.
on your old body.
Oh, that's even fun.
All right, goodbye, everybody.